Hey everybody, hope you guys are doing well. This is our last video for the class. It's been a pretty insane semester. Um, so for today I'm going to be talking about this thing called universal income, universal basic income, and why I think our country should adopt it. This is a book called The War on Normal People, written by Andrew Yang. Andrew was a former Democratic candidate for the 2020 election. He dropped out a few months ago, but I think he proposed some pretty awesome ideas. His main platform was this thing called the freedom dividend, which was to give everyone $1,000 a month, regardless of income, as a way to not only help grow the economy, but also to push back against the threat of automation. So why do we need universal basic income? Well, there's a lot of reasons. The economy is not in a great place right now. It wasn't doing well even before the COVID situation, but now it's looking really bad. And as the stimulus checks showed us, is that it works. Giving out money to Americans without really having to work for it does work. It helped put the money back into the country. The economy works better if people are spending money, not just storing it. And although I think that it'd be nice if they would introduce more stimulus checks in the future, I think $1,200 is not enough, especially if you live in California. But I think it's a good start. It's a good place to start. So anyways, with nearly 80% of the United States workforce being located in the customer service sector, which would be like restaurants, retail, customer service, hospitality, things like that. The majority of Americans work in that industry and that world, and automation has slowly over time been replacing those jobs. Automated phone calls, things like that, self-checkout. Now at restaurants you can just order on a tablet. You don't even really need a waiter anymore. It's going to become worse, I think. I don't think automation is completely bad, but I think it's going to do a lot of damage early on, until the government can work on getting some regulation. But the government has a bunch of things going on, so we'll see how that goes. But anyways, that citation is coming from Brad Stollery from Medium.com. And then also, the idea of universal income is not a new idea. It's been floating around in this country for decades. Martin Luther King was actually a big proponent of the idea. A few economists over the years, even conservative ones, have argued that it's actually something that needs to be done in order to keep our economy afloat during times, especially like this. So for this video, I'm mostly going to be using Andrew Yang's idea for universal income. Some people have argued more money, some argued less. His has the most concrete amount of evidence for his number, which is $1,000 a month. I'm not sure if $2,000 or $500 a month would be better or worse. So I'm just going with his because there's numbers to back it up. So this is the logos part of the speech. And so many conservatives argue that our country couldn't afford universal income. And that's not true. There are many things that we could do to pay for this. Andrew Yang proposed the main one being what is called a VAT tax, a value-added tax. And 161 countries, or 166 countries, excuse me, out of the 191 in the world, all use this value-added tax. And if we were to adopt it, we would generate $800 billion in tax revenue a year. Well, the freedom dividend is estimated to be about $2 trillion a year, so it's not quite paying for it, but it's a good start. And a few other ways that we could pay for it would be a big one, I think, is taxing these companies like Amazon, Google, Facebook for using our data searches. These companies are making billions and billions of dollars a year off of our own private information, and they're using it in kind of shady ways. And I don't think a lot of people really even understand that yet. But there's this common phrase that data is the new oil, and that's being tossed around a little bit. And I think it's true. I think that we're now in a digital age where the things that you're watching and you're looking up, those things have a lot of value, and it's a way for these companies to advertise for you for future purchases. And Andrew Yang was the only guy that was up there talking about this issue. And I think it's going to be a really big problem in the future if people don't start talking about it now. And then another way that he was just suggesting is just like a lot of other candidates is that it's taxing the companies that haven't been paying their income tax. A lot of these companies, like I said, Facebook, Amazon, Google, they have not been paying their yearly income tax, and that's a huge loss of revenue for the country and for the people of the country. These countries are making so much money off of the backs of other people, and I think they need to start paying their fair share just like everybody else. So, excuse me. And that VAT tax citation is coming from Catherine Clifford from CNBC, and also from Stephen Johnson at BigThink.com. A lot of the information I'm getting about this is coming from this book, but some of these are also from online as well. So for the pathos, economic inflation, some have argued that it would ruin the economy's inflation, or it would cause inflation problems, giving everyone money. Sorry, that's kind of hard to see. There's this common myth that if you were to give everyone money, but there's only so much money to give. Well, the wealth gets circulated, and if more people spending money, the better it is for our economy. So if you were to give everyone $1,000 a month, more than likely they would be spending it. Not many of us can really afford to just hold on to that forever. It would allow people to, do a lot of different things, start new businesses, etc., pay for student debt, go to school, a lot of things. So, and it actually would it would create about 7 million jobs. 4.7 million jobs would be created by introducing this freedom dividend. And it would also generate the national GDP by about 13-14% by the year 2025. So that's $2 trillion right there, just from everyone having access to this thing and spending money. And that's coming from Dylan Matthews at Vox.com. And then ethos. Some would argue that UBI will make people lazy. This one drives me crazy. I don't think that $1,000 a month would be enough for you to live on, especially in the state of California. I think what it would do is it would allow people to have a little more breathing room, and it would give people the opportunities that they wouldn't have otherwise. Like they can start prepping for a new business if they wanted to. They can get things going like that. They can go to school now. Maybe they can cut hours at their job if they're working 40, 50 hours a week. They might not have time to go to school, so now they can work 25, 30 hours. And I believe that the extra $1,000 a month income would give just a whole mass of opportunities for people that they wouldn't have otherwise. And I think that's awesome. And then now with this COVID situation, at-home learning or distance learning, whatever they're calling it, is becoming really common for parents. And so if you have a two-person household, maybe one of the parents can go and work while the other one can stay home with the child. And having some form of UBI every month might allow them to kind of make up for the lack of work that's coming from that second parent. And then because who knows how long it's going to be until these children go back to school. A lot of people are starting to go back to work now, but there's still a lot of people that are out of work, huge populations out of work still. And who knows how long it's going to be for the students until they go back to school, especially little kids. And that citation is coming from Anna Dent. She was saying that just the same things that I was arguing, that it would just allow people to have opportunities that they wouldn't have otherwise. It would create sort of this push for entrepreneurship, I would think. I agree with her on that. Anyways, so this is my call to emotion. With the majority of Americans already struggling to get by, even pre-COVID, now with this virus on top, the economy is in disarray. I think it's time for the government to start assisting people. There seems to be this huge concern with the economy coming from conservatives, yet they give $4 trillion to bank bailouts and corporate bailouts, and I think they need to realize that we're the ones that keep the economy afloat, and if we're not making money or generating money from work, which the government is allowing many of us to do anyways, then they need to start helping us in that way. And I would like to see this continue on after COVID. I don't think this is just something for this situation in particular, but as we're seeing, the stimulus check was a great success The numbers are proven. They're showing a lot of sales and things like that are going up. So I think they need to keep pushing for that. And also the threat of automation, like I said before, it's coming. It's going to be putting out a lot of truck driving jobs out of work, and there's a huge population in this country that isn't cut out for college. And college isn't the answer for everything. And I think that it's kind of scary that automation is, it's going to be replacing a lot of people. And what are they going to do? And I think that having some sort of safety net for them is the answer. So, anyways, thank you guys. I appreciate it. That's my visual aid. This is my second visual aid. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.